Okay. Well, that's a win, right? That's a win. That's a win. That's a win. It came against an Indiana Pacers team missing 5 rotation players, but at the same time, the Knicks didn't really have a real point guard out there at any point in time. All due respect to Emmanuel Quickly, Deuce McBride, and Alec Burks. So I'm not sending any apologies out to anyone for that win, um, especially given the manner in which it came. And there were a couple of things that I think we could take from that win that potentially could be important going forward. Also, not going to get too crazy about it because, again, it's not like this Pacers team was a great team, and it's not like we aren't still 18 and 20. It is what it is. But unless you're someone who's already rooting for a tank and already rooting for a draft pick, they needed to get this one tonight. They needed to get this one tonight because, as was referenced several times on the broadcast, this schedule is about 3 weeks away from getting absolutely hellacious. And they have that amount of time, as far as I'm concerned, to prove to the front office that, look, and the trade deadline is there's 26 games left after the trade deadline. So they have, the next, I think it's 17 games now, roughly 17 games until then, to prove to front office, like, no, don't sell Alec Burks for a first round pick. Don't sell, if I don't know if he's going to be back by then. Don't sell Derrick Rose for a first round pick. Let's see what we could do here. And this win was absolutely necessary towards that effort. Even more important to me and more impressive to me than Julius Randle and RJ Barrett and what they did together. Again, for anybody who missed it, first time in 154 career games, those two players had more than 30 points on the same night. And they did it, I would say, fairly efficiently, all things considered. It wasn't the prettiest game at times. Both players, had their moments. Randall got a little ball hoggy there in the second half. But hey, guess what? Randall was really ball hoggy a lot of the time last year. And the difference between last year and this year, as we've been saying for now 37 games, is that last year he was hitting the shots. This year, he's not hitting the shots. Well, guess what? Tonight, he hit the shots. So you forgive him for calling his own number a few times down the stretch. And then as far as RJ Barrett, I don't know. Is it a stretch to say this was the most impressive? I would say this is one of the 2 or 3 most impressive games of RJ Barrett's career. And I'm gonna put it right up there with the Pelicans game where he absolutely saved the Knicks' ass earlier in the season, and maybe one other game from earlier in the streak. And if you want to throw in the Houston game from his rookie year, or maybe another game last season that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, you could do that too. What I thought was so important about this was, Randall's just coming back from protocols. He doesn't start the game off well at all. He starts off actually horribly, with some turnovers, a non-contest on defense, a couple of iffy looking shots. Clearly wasn't shooting it with a lot of confidence there initially. And RJ, right as it looked like this was going to be a night that had us all being like, just fucking break this team up. This team sucks. This team's not going anywhere this year. This is not working. RJ puts the team on his back. And I think he played like a team. He played like a player that was challenged. And the bigger point that I wanted to make, and I think I got off track there for a second, is that this team played like a team that was challenged. And they played like a team whose back was a little bit against the wall, with one exception, and I'm going to get to him in a bit. They played like a team whose back was against the wall. They played like a team who was like, all right, if we're going to make anything out of this season, we're going to do it now. And it wasn't that pretty. I'm having trouble pulling up the box score. Oh wait, no, here I have the box score right here. I think there may have been one other game this season that the Knicks won. I want to say they shot pretty poorly from 3 against Milwaukee in the game they won against Milwaukee. but they shot 21.4% from deep tonight. And I would be, if maybe they have one other game where they shot worse than that and they won. But if you look at the Knicks wins this season and you look at how they've shot from three in those games and how many threes they've made and the percentage that they make, one or the other is almost always good. Tonight, they won this game even though they did not shoot well from three. They actually shot abysmally from three. So give them credit for that, because that's been, again, when the Knicks have won this year, they've won because they've made threes. And what was impressive tonight was they won in a different way. And we haven't seen that a lot. And I don't know that I want to give them too much credit for their defense, because again, you're playing defense against guys who are on 10-day hardship contracts. Other than Sabonis and Miles Turner, Justin Holiday. My God, I'm forgetting the name of the other wing on Indiana who was on the Suns last year. I'll get it right now. Not O'Shea Brissett. Torrey Craig. I don't know why I blanked on Torrey Craig. O'Shea Brissett also is the other rotation player. So, they had some rotation guys, but they didn't have any NBA level guards. So again, I'm not going to go crazy about the fact that they held this team to whatever they did, 38 points in the second half. But I did think the defense was good, even considering, thank you, Andrew. Andrew just reminded me of his name. I did think the defense was solid, regardless of who the opponent was. And hey, guess what? A Pistons team a week ago that had no NBA players or two NBA players took the Knicks starting unit behind the woodshed and absolutely beat the living snot out of them for the first 7 or 8 minutes of that third quarter. And there were a lot of the same guys out there. So I guess I will give them some credit, because again, the Knicks, when they're not going well defensively, they can't stop, anybody. So again, lots of good stuff to be excited about, lots of encouraging things. Ultimately, this season will come down to the same thing that this season was always going to come down to, which is, can Randall look good, or Randall look like 85 or 90 or 95% of the player he was last year? Can RJ Barrett get going in a consistent, meaningful way? And can the Knicks get back to their ethos on defense? I know Quickly's, been in a bit of a slump. I know obviously Kemba's hurt, and Kemba coming back, I still think can help. Although you wonder too many cooks in the kitchen. That's if there's, and then after this, I think I'll get to the super chats. If there is one, I'm not going to call it a sign of concern, but we've now seen 3 straight games where, oh boy, RJ Barrett, when he has the ball, he's pretty good. Give that guy a chance to create some offense. And that's really what it was tonight. It was either Randall Burks pick and rolls, or it was RJ Barrett using, high screen from either Mitchell Robinson or Taj Gibson. That's your offense. That was your offense tonight. And guess what? It worked pretty well, with kind of Burks as that third scorer. If Kemba comes back, if Kemba comes back, I don't know which one of those it is. How does that, and it sounds like the MRI today was good, how does that factor in? With Rose out for at least the next month, I wonder, is there going to be a plan where you're staggering those 3 guys? Maybe that's what makes the most sense. Maybe Kemba's now coming off the bench. Again, though, well, when Kemba got banished the first time, the reason he wasn't a reserve is because Tibbs said you can't have Kemba, Rose, and Quickly, all 3 of them coming off the bench. It's too small. Well, now Rose is injured. And now you could have Kemba potentially coming off the bench next to Grimes, next to Quickly. Kemba Quickly is a little small, but again, if you're going against bench units, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to do that. I feel like he'd probably just start Kemba and figure it out. But I kind of like this 2-man game. I feel like if you're an optimistic Knicks fan, this was always kind of the vision. These 2 guys playing well. I'm not going to bring up the other guy in the starting lineup who I haven't mentioned. The centers played well, by the way. Mitch got owned a little bit, but Jeremy, I'm not reading that out loud. If anybody wants to read the pinned tweet, they could read the pinned tweet on their own. I'm going to get to the super chats. Okay, first up, Haitian Ferg. So frustrating. RJ and Julius are very capable, but too inconsistent. I would assume plus minus was solid today. What gives, man? Why not every night? I'm not gonna lie. There was a point in time tonight where I looked at how they were doing and how they were playing together. And to answer your question, Randall was a plus 12, RJ was a plus 9. I can tell you right now there haven't been many nights where that's been the case. Um, there were a few times where I thought tonight, what if the Knicks just ran it back and didn't? I guess I have to mention him now. Didn't mention Evan Fournier. Evan Fournier fucking sucks. He just sucks. I don't want to watch him anymore. I don't want him on my team. He's soft. He comes up big occasionally with big shots. Never comes up big on defense. He is an absolute like. I'm going a little hard here because he was that bad tonight. There's a really good NBA player in there. It doesn't fit at all with the ethos of this team. And what we saw tonight, I think, was the team getting a little bit back to its ethos. I think Quentin Grimes fits with that 1,000%. Quentin Grimes really is kind of the Reggie Bullock, could be the Reggie Bullock of this team. I'm not saying he's that good of a shooter or he's that good of a defender. He's not. But like he fills that role. And I think there's getting back to my point before, like what if you just ran it back? What if Fournier wasn't here? Like maybe you sign instead of like Kemba and Fournier, you sign, I don't even know who they would sign. You sign like a wing, but like not maybe a shot creating wing. Like I hate to bring this guy up because I don't think he's the answer to that question. But like, there were rumors about there were rumors about a few guys. I actually no, I'm not gonna bring up his name. Yeah, I don't know. I think there were other directions they could have gone and featured RJ Barrett and Julius Randle this year and just created a better support system around them. It's a good what if, but obviously what's done is done. Fournier is on the team. He's not, I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to trade him at this deadline. But so to answer your question, Haitian Ferg, I think what gives is they just haven't gotten into a comfort zone. These two guys, because there's been a lot of mouths to feed, and we haven't seen a whole lot of nights where those two guys were featured on offense, and they were featured tonight. Randall also has been bet. He's been missing a lot of shots, as has RJ. Both of those guys miss a lot of shots. But how much of that is them not being able to get into a rhythm because there's too many mouths to feed? How much of them is just them being bad? How much of it is maybe them, or at least RJ? Again, I'll go back to that comment from Tibbs. Has he been putting in the same amount of work? He sure looked like a guy tonight that was putting in a lot of work. So, yeah. The guy I was going to mention before, I was blanking on his name, was Kelly Oubre Jr. I don't love Kelly Oubre Jr. for this team, but like, I wonder. Daniel Chang felt like March 2021 tonight. Yeah, a little bit. Need to keep it rolling. Banish Fournier into the sun and arrest David Fizdale for fraud. Let's get our cracks in at David Fizdale when we can. Always room for David Fizdale jokes here. Kareem Asor, Andrew trade idea. Bullock for Fournier. One team trashed for the other. Can even throw in a second in there. Yeah, the money wouldn't work because Fournier is making 17 point something this year. Bullock's making 10 and change. So it would have to be maybe Bullock and Frank, right? No. Bullock and someone for Fournier. And someone. I don't think I mean, would the Knicks do that? The other reason they didn't want to bring Bullock back was because they didn't want to give anybody they didn't want to give him the third guaranteed year. But then again, now you got Fournier in a third guaranteed year because you needed to go there to get him. How's that working out? So you know what? It's not the craziest thing in the world. Andrew just texted me, fine, throw Luka and Randall into the trade as well. Now it'll match up money-wise. Yeah, good call, Andrew. Robert McGinley, loved taking it to Turner tonight. Yeah, I agree. And shout out to Caitlin Cooper, who spoke a lot about how Miles Turner is a good defender, but he's not a perfect defender, and they exploited that a couple times tonight on the pod a few weeks ago. His foul trouble opened things up. By the way, real quick, while I think about it, RJ, I know he missed some free throws. I believe RJ went to the line. It was either 8 or 10 times tonight. I thought it was 10, and then I checked the box score, and it looked like they changed it to 8. I could have sworn it was 10. Something funky going on there. Whatever. He got to the line, even if it was just 8 times. That's 24 free throw attempts over the last 3 games for RJ Barrett. I went and looked it up throughout the game. He's only had 24 or more free throw attempts in a 3-game stretch 3 times in his career before this 3-game stretch. Love to see an aggressive RJ Barrett, and he was actually drawing fouls tonight because this was not a loose whistle in the Garden tonight. They made you earn it, and he was earning those fouls. Great stuff from RJ. More from Robert McGinley. Also, I know it's not popular, but if Randall's more efficient with long twos versus overthinking threes, let him go. Let's go Knicks. Yeah, I mean, look, guys have to hit shots that they're comfortable taking. Tibbs always talks about this. I'm fine with it. I think Randall's best threes are the ones he takes in rhythm, off of where a screen action will pull Randall's man off of him momentarily, and then there's a quick pass to him, and he could just fire away. I like those threes from Randall. I know we almost hit like the miracle three that was a shot clock violation. Listen, whatever works from him at this point. I just want to get back to the version of Julius Randle that like we could at least be like, hey, this guy's worth his contract, and this guy's not an absolute anchor on everything we're trying to do. Like I thought he played with after the first few minutes. I thought he played with some pretty nice defensive effort tonight. I thought he was an absolute beast on the board. And look, I know there's going to be people who are going to complain about Obi Toppin only getting 9 minutes tonight. I get it. And if you are one of those people, it's totally fine. I'm here for it because I want him to play more minutes, and it is frustrating when he only plays 10 minutes. I don't care how good Randall's playing. That said, Obi still has some growing up to do on the boards. He still has some growing up to do on defense. There were a few moments tonight that weren't too pretty. He missed quickly there. He should have passed to him on the break. He's still a young player. He's still a growing player, and I think we learned that over the last few games. I still want him to get more time. I still think he should get more time. I still think it's in the organization's best interest to give him more time alongside Randall. All that being said, like Randall had a big boy game tonight. And Tim's on Randall. This courtesy of Fred Katz. Thanks, Fred. Appearing on a KFS podcast near you soon. For Julius to do what he did today is just remarkable. To come out of healthy safety protocols, travel, and play, we had no idea what he was going to be like. Unbelievable effort. And that's something that should surprise no one that Tibbs is going to go out of his way to praise Randall. Because if you're Tibbs, the only thing that's going to save your season is if you get this guy, the guy that you saw tonight, to show up again and again and again, more often than not. So yeah, I have no issue with that praise from Tom Thibodeau on Julius Randle. Biological GOAT. Randall and Burks iced out RJ. Hold on one sec. Sorry, your super chat went away. I have a feeling I know what this is going to be. Andrew, get me back the one about whatever them are icing out RJ while I get to your pinned tweet. Oh, let's get those likes up. Yeah, let's get the likes up. Everybody hit the like button, please. I'll move on. I'll get back to that comment and any others that I miss. Zach Porkanoy, shout out to RJ and Julius. Both had massive performances. Yes, they did. Good comment there. Kevin Danishevsky, what's going on, Kev? Fournier is trash. Yes, he is. Start AB when Kemba is back. For my 2 cents, I thought what we saw tonight in terms of the closing lineup, I think there's an argument that should be the Knicks starting 5. Julius, RJ, Burks, quickly, and pick your center, Mitchell Robinson or Taj Gibson. Either one. I'm cool with either one. I proposed a starting lineup in today's newsletter that included Evan Fournier because or maybe I didn't. No, sorry, it didn't include Evan Fournier. My apologies. It included quickly RJ, Randall, Taj, and Grimes for defense. What I saw tonight and what I think I didn't give enough credit to was like, I think they need Burks out there as well to be that third release valve. Grimes is not there yet. And quickly I'm not sure if he's yet there yet either. But quickly as kind of like, but I also don't like Burks out there without a true point guard. So that's why I kind of like the idea of Quickly and Burks and RJ and Julius, and then again pick your center. It's an interesting idea. We'll see. I don't. Again, I have a feeling it's going to wind up being Kemba, but we'll see what happens. Nat Smith. How do you think going forward we balance giving Evan minutes to maintain his trade value and focus on winning games in a very tightly contested play-in race? Um, that's a great question. I mean, I have a few thoughts. My first thought is Evan's trade value can't get much worse than it is. So if you send him to the bench and you play him a few less minutes a game, what's the difference? I also have another thought that like I think the league kind of knows what Evan Fournier is right now or by now. And if you look at his year-long numbers, like they're not that far off from his regular numbers. As shout out to Jeremy Cohen who mentioned that on the pod, one of the last, I think the pod 2 weeks ago. But look, they're 18 and 20. There's a lot of season left. There's more than half the season left. I do think they owe it to themselves to give themselves the best chance to win games. I like the idea of Fournier playing with Kemba. I think those guys like each other. I think they like playing together. And as I just said a minute ago, I think it makes sense to play Kemba off the bench and stagger him with Julius and RJ. Now, is that minimizing Kemba too much? I don't know that I care at this point. Maybe playing Kemba 20 minutes a game for a guy that has knee issues isn't the worst thing in the world. So maybe it's just a matter of getting Kemba and Fournier together off the bench and kind of trying to make that your bench unit and have your bench revolve around those two guys with Obi Toppin, again, with either Mitchell Robinson or Taj Gibson. I notice how I'm pretending that Nerlens Noel doesn't exist. And who am I forgetting? Quentin Grimes, to provide some defense to back those guys up. But again, I think what Kemba and Fournier, what they don't bring on the defensive end, it gets minimalized a bit. There's that word again. Minimalized or minimized? I keep wanting to say minimalized. It's not a word. Minimized because you're going up against backups. You're still going to see some minutes with Kemba and Fournier with Julius and RJ because they'll be the first subs to check in. But I don't know. This from Tyler Michaels. Grimes versus Fournier is night and day. Yeah, I'm going to have a section of the newsletter tomorrow dedicated to that from a defensive standpoint. Grimes playing the Bullock role gives the Knicks a defensive edge when he's on the floor. Yeah, 100%. Andrew, don't forget about the comment I stopped reading in the middle because it went away about the freezing out of RJ in the third quarter. Matt, Aussie Knicks fan. What's going on, my man? Apologies again to any offended Australians. On behalf of Andrew Claudio, apologies for not knowing that the capital of Australia is not Sydney. Are we at the point where starting Fournier to save trade value isn't even worth it due to how bad he's playing? Again, picking up off the last comment. Seems like he couldn't be worse. Need to ship him to the capital of Australia. Oh, goodness gracious. They're really getting on you here, Andrew, and I'm here for all of it. Yeah, again, I like playing him 20 minutes a game or even like 18 minutes a game at this point is better than this. He's just, I don't know. But I also don't know if it's realistic to think that you're going to trade this guy a half a season into a deal that has three fully guaranteed years. I don't know if that's realistic. Andrew, I blame the American public educational system, Professor Macri. You spelled professor wrong. Maybe he intended to spell professor. That's me, Professor Macri. Rob Delusma. Hope the New Year's treating you and your family well. Thank you, Rob. Hope the same for you and yours. I was just happy to see the squad play some cohesive defense. Yeah, minus Fournier, I thought they all defended pretty well. I mean, there were some breakdowns, but give the Pacers credit. I know these guys are on 10-day contracts, but like he's a small, shifty guard, and like That guy, the reason that guy, whatever his name is, Sykes, didn't get called up before this isn't. I guarantee you, it's not because of his offense. Because his offense looked pretty fucking good. It's because he's going to try to get taken advantage of on defense. And guess what? He battled. So, yeah, again, I should have given more praise to their defensive effort. It was good and it was fun to see. Let's see it some more. Let's see it against Boston for the next 2 games. How about that? Greg Film Stuff. Thank you so much, Greg Film Stuff, for the very generous super chat here. I appreciate it, my man. Randall allowed someone who has it going to be the engine. Yes, he did. He just got better looks, or he just got better looks playing off someone. I see it, Andrew. Thanks. This game from RJ is why I don't want him to go at all. He's finishing better, and once the mid-range comes, we have a player. My whole thing with RJ, maybe I'm in the minority. I've never questioned the shot. And you could go back and listen to anything I've said. And I've been really frustrated. Oh, wait, no, you know who we could introduce? Here we go. Let's bring him down here. Shout out to my buddy Yash, who sent me this, I think, as RJ was getting done with his 5-game streak of 20 or more. This is, I think his name is RJ too. This is RJ the Crow. So this was sent to me, obviously, so I could eat crow, because I have been harsh on RJ Barrett. Well, guess what? After Yash sent this to me, RJ Barrett went into the tank and became one of the worst players in the NBA for about a month. He's starting to get it back. I never. So we'll just leave Mr. Crow. We can leave him right here. Can you see him? Oh, there we go. I think RJ started to get it back. I never questioned the shot. I always thought the shot was going to be there. What I was always more concerned about was the finishing. And I started to get really concerned. Like, this is year 3. Like, we saw some nice finishes early in the year, but I felt like him falling off as far as a consistent finisher was starting to worry me a little bit. Here we go. We'll give him a nice perch. There we go. His little head's popping up. So that is what worried me. And for me tonight, seeing him show just some absolutely elite finishes around the rim against a team that is one of the better rim protecting teams in the league, they don't give up a lot in the paint. They really don't. The burst on I think it was he drew the foul call, that burst down the lane, that's as fast as I feel like I've ever seen RJ Barrett shoot down the lane when he turned that corner. That's the stuff that has me encouraged. And then, as you say, the mid-range stuff, he's going to need absolutely to get that mid-range game down, because he's not, with all due respect to that one move where he turned the corner really fast, most of the time that's not something he has in his bag. And he doesn't have the kind of handle where he's going to beat guys a lot of the time off the dribble and get that initial advantage. So him being able to, get a little bit of separation and use his size to elevate and knock down that 14, 16, 18 footer, it's so massive for him. And I'm not comparing him to Devin Booker. Let me just be very fucking clear about that. But much like Devin Booker has learned to rely on that mid-range game as a massive part of his arsenal, RJ needs to do the same thing. On that note, this is the rest of the comment from Biological Goat before. Randall and Burks iced out RJ on purpose, and I will die on that hill if need be. Happy for the win, though. We were due. Yeah, you're going to be by yourself on that hill. I don't think they iced him out at all. I think that's what they call flow of the game. I mean, it happens, and I think RJ and if I could just make another point, we get so caught up on this like icing out hill thing sometimes. Like, when a player has it going, like Randall was deferring to RJ in the first quarter, willingly and like openly. Like, RJ's a big boy. He can figure out how to get his shots if he wants his shots. I thought that was more flow of the offense stuff. I thought that was more, maybe they were paying a little bit more attention to RJ. And I noticed it on at least one possession in the third quarter where they went and sent a high hedge at RJ, and RJ didn't know what to do. He passed out of it. So I think they basically committed to making sure, like, RJ Barrett's not going to score another 24 points or whatever it was against us in the second half. I didn't see it. If you saw it, that's your that's your that's your that's your vantage point. Um, Lunas and Marat. Frustration about RJ is the inconsistency. More 30-point games in less than half a season than last year. My issue are people who say he lacks the talent or ability. He 100% does. To be an all-star, he just has to put it together. Oh God, of course I have to quote Thibodeau here. This is the NBA. Everybody's a great player. I think what's other than just like size, which obviously RJ has, I think what separates the good guys from the great guys is work ethic, and as you say, consistency. Because I really do, like, everybody does have talent. Like, I don't really know. It's a good point. Um, that said, I don't know. I think the projections of an all-star ceiling for him have always been based on, like, okay, he's tracking this way from year 1 to year 2, and then he got off to a really nice start in year 3, and then you're like, okay, well, great, now we're on this track. We could project a little bit more. I still don't think I still don't think, based on what we've seen, I could sit here and be like, yeah, that guy's a future all-star. I think we still need to see more growth. Now, if you want to tell me, well, no, based on what we've seen, it is okay to project more growth. I think that's a valid opinion. I'm not sure I'm 100% there yet. All due respect to Mr. Crow here. But tonight got me a little closer, I'll tell you that. So we'll see. This has been now, I think, 3 pretty good games on offense. And a better game tonight for RJ on defense. This from Hush Zoo. Happy for these 10-day guys. Evan Fournier will turn those contracts to full-year contracts. With that being said, Aaron Aflalo or Evan Fournier? Man, I liked the Aflalo signing. I didn't think Aflalo was bad here. That's just me, but definitely Aaron Aflalo. Fournier really is becoming one of my least favorite Knicks. He's just such a maddening player. Give me Tim Hardaway Jr. over this guy, please. Jeremy Chase, what's going on, Jeremy? The poster behind you is giving us all the stink eye. Yes, they are. Me too. None more than me. RJ and Jules were great. Fournier, I won't dwell on the negative, but that dude is soft serve. You make me want some ice cream right now. And I unfortunately don't have any in the house. That's unfortunate for me. Agree completely. Stevens Guillaume, what's going on, Stevens? Just glad we got a W. Yeah, they needed one. 18 and 20. You want to do a little standings update? Let's do a little standings update. Why not? At press time. So this was actually a really important win for this reason. And I'm going to have to change something that I wrote in tomorrow's newsletter. I was fully expecting the Pacers to kind of catch up to the Knicks at some point if they won this game. They did not win this game. And as a result, the Pacers are now 4 games back of the Knicks. Now, you can make up, obviously, 4 games over the course of, 44 left to go? Goes without saying. But the Pacers are now 10 games under 500. You wonder, given the article that came out in The Athletic, what it feels like a month ago now, will they look to make some deals? Again, if you're someone who's just like, I want the Knicks to make a push and I want them to make the play-in game, if you could, this was important, an important win to try to nudge Indiana further out of the race. And then I think you could count on Washington perhaps continuing to come back down to earth. And then you need one more team because I think Atlanta's going to make a run. Who's the other team? I mean, Cleveland's has the best net rating in the East, I think, still. They lost again tonight. They don't have Rubio anymore. Obviously, Sexton's not coming back. They just got Rondo. Is Rondo going to answer their prayers? I don't know about that. It wouldn't shock me if Cleveland came back down to earth. Although I'm not, like, they've been so much better than the Knicks, it's not even funny. So it feels silly for me to say that. Um, does Charlotte fall back a little bit? Toronto, I mean, if they're going to stay healthy, I like them. Boston, I guess we'll see. I still have faith in Boston, especially once Tatum gets back. So, even without Indy, I think the Knicks are going to have their work cut out for them. But again, this is a big win. Half a game back of Boston for 10th right now. So we'll see. Gad Candelario. What's going on, Gad? Chicken cutlets for Randall tonight. Go Knicks. Yeah, I have 2 unmade cutlets in the fridge. I think I might have to fry them up tonight because I'm hungry. Stevens Guillaume, rocket ship, French flag, sun. Amen, brother. Lunas, am I right? Also, your Okoro comment in this year's Barrett trade asset ranking. I hope you like Crow some seasoning. Will be worth a 9-figure extension. I mean, look, I hope you're right. I forget what the Okoro comment was exactly. Probably that I think most teams would take Okoro over RJ. I will disagree with that if I did say that. I'm not even sure. I don't remember what I say half the time. No, but RJ, gosh, a 9-figure extension. Are the Knicks going to look at him and be like, here's $100 million guaranteed for the next 5 years or 4 years, whatever? Probably. Probably. I think they probably want to see a little bit more. But we're getting there. This is from Kevin Danishevsky also. 1-4 in games that I've been to now. Congratulations, you finally saw a win, Kev. I know Randall and RJ's 30 pieces will get a lot of deserved attention, but that defense looked awesome in the fourth. On that note, shout out to Quentin Grimes tonight. Just, I am seriously considering giving Quentin my third star of the game after Randall and RJ. I thought his defensive energy, maybe it's just because I'm comparing it to Fournier, but that dude comes in. He's not a perfect defender yet. He's still a rookie. He still makes the occasional rookie defense, or mistake. But I love the spirit he comes and plays with. He hustled after the thing that really struck me, even before the couple of Fournier plays, where it's just like why are you even out there? There was a play from Grimes. It was in the first half where there was a one of those offensive, or what looked like it was going to be an offensive rebound for the Pacers. Those balls that dropped down in the middle of nowhere, and there was no Nick nearby, and Grimes just fucking shot out from under the paint and grabbed it. And I'm like, that's the difference. That's the difference between Quentin Grimes and Evan Fournier, right there. So yeah, good stuff, Kevin. Harry Donor, what's going on, Harry? Always good to see you, my man. I don't have an issue with what the front office did this summer. I mean, and let me be very clear, despite the fact that we're all killing Fournier tonight, we all thought it was a good signing. We all thought they'd be able to make the pieces fit. They haven't. Even though it hasn't worked out, back to Harry's comment, had we run it back, we would be signing up for a mediocre season. They had to take a chance, in my opinion. Yeah, I think you're going to be in the minority, but I also don't think you're wrong. Again, I'm not saying they should have run back the exact same team. They were exposed in the playoffs, and they did need more something in the starting lineup. Like they couldn't run it back with Peyton. Again, I forget who's the NBA content creator or NBA media personality who suggested it early in the year. I think it may have been during the Knicks Cavs game, and I apologize. I'm forgetting who this person is. I'm not taking credit for it. It was somebody else who said this. And it's not just because the guy was hitting a million threes, but like, imagine if they had traded for Ricky Rubio. And I know Ricky Rubio is now out with a torn ACL, but like that type of point guard, a guy who can keep you far more honest than Elfrid Payton can on the offensive end in every way, who's a legitimately good defender. Not a great defender, not the defender he once was, but a really good defender. And like a true floor general. And like, I'll Tibbs said it a lot last year, and I'll give him credit because it takes a little bit more. It feels more genuine now whenever he's like, Fournier gets us into our offense. there've been a lot of times this year where the Knicks haven't gotten into their offense, and yeah, to a certain extent, or did I say Fournier? Whatever. Peyton gets us into our offense. Like Rubio is a guy that really would have gotten them into their offense. So I think, again, not running it back. Not that Rubio would have been the be all end all, but like someone like that, just like a better version of that point guard. And I do think, and then who knows, maybe just elevate Burks into the starting five, and then you draft Grimes and you put Grimes in the Bullock role off the bench. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there was another move out there that I'm not thinking of. The center position's also been a disaster this year. Not saying that there was a center on the free agent market that I would have liked them to sign. Although, again, in fairness, they brought back Noel. That's the one move. I defend. I think the Burks move was a good move. I think the Rose move was a good move. The Fournier move we can put aside for the moment. Kemba, you had to take a chance. They brought back Noel. It has not looked great. Was there a center out there? Like this was not a big free agent center class. Could they have traded for Turner in the summer? Like I don't know. I don't know the answers to these questions. Drew P. Fournier for Eric Gordon or Joe Ingles if available. Utah's not trading Joe Ingles. Eric Gordon, I have to think that Houston's going to want. They're going to want something. 2 seconds, probably not getting it done. Maybe. This one from Jeremy E. Julius did a good job deferring today. RJ in the first half. Not so much in the second half. Still hard to complain with the win. They grinded today. Yeah, and I just want to be just like super. I don't know what the word is. Not apologetic, but like a lot of people are focusing on RJ. Like the Garden was chanting for RJ tonight. And that's great. Julius Randle had a really good game tonight. He started terribly. Started fucking awfully. And it wasn't perfect. He did monopolize some possessions down the stretch that he should ideally maybe not have. But like, give credit where credit's due. Like they don't win that game. I'm just gonna say it. They're not gonna win that game if Obi Toppin is playing instead of Julius Randle. I don't believe they would have. Maybe that's right. Maybe that's wrong. But that's what I'm gonna say. And oh, by the way, that should be the case. He's your leader. He just signed a $100 million extension. I'm not saying like this to pat Julius on the back for like because like he needs some affirmation, but like I have been so quick, and a lot of people have been so quick to criticize him this year, and I have criticized him a lot because he fucking deserves it. But on a night when he's good, let's say he's good. He was good. This from Aussie Knicks fan. Julius' New Year's resolution must have been to not play like shit anymore. Well, he did say, Harlow did say on the broadcast he got his head right, so we'll see. Playing like the Julius we have gave an extension to. RJ being aggressive was fire, 100%. Ryan Huang, another one. Thank you, Ryan. Greetings from the Garden. Cutlets for RJ and Julius tonight. A lot of cutlets going around. And Taj Cutlets. They both needed high-scoring, efficient games tonight and delivered. Yes, they did. Happy holidays, KFS. Happy holidays to you, Ryan. Thank you. And hold on, I gotta catch up to the whatever I missed in the super chat. But by the way, shout out to everybody. This has been great tonight. Really, I see some turtles in the chat. It's always great to see turtles in the chat. Even if they're just kind of crawling along and hanging out there. It is what it is. You love the turtles. Did I miss anything? Okay, if I missed one, let me know, Andrew. But I'm catching up to where I see it. Anthony Sixto, if Randle gets back to form starting tonight, is there a case that the workload was catching up to him? Looked like time off helped. Hashtag 53 wins returns. I like the hashtag. I don't know. I mean, he had a full offseason, right? I know it wasn't the longest offseason, but he did have a full offseason. It's not like he went and played in the Olympics. And he's been pretty rough all year. So I don't know if I buy that argument. At the same time, wouldn't rule anything out. This from Zach Porkanoy. Shout out RJ and Julius. Both had massive performances. 100%. Good comment there. Keeping it going from Frank Miranda. What's going on, Frank? Good to see you. What's up, Mac? It's your boy Frank from Patreon. Shout out to you, Frank. Being that McDonald's ice cream machine is always out of order, I would trade Fournier for the mere promise of a McFlurry once the machine is working. That is a spectacular comment. Thank you, Frank. There was a great story about the McDonald's ice cream machines or the Flurry machines in some publication like several months ago. That was very good. If anybody hasn't read that story, like Google McDonald's Flurry or machines or McDonald's ice cream machines. It's a good story on the internet. It's well worth your time reading. I know it doesn't sound like an interesting topic. It was good. And I think on that note, we got some more turtles. We got a few, I think it's dinosaurs. So that means it's time to get out of here once the animals start coming fast and furious. Shout out to Andrew Claudio, as always, holding me down, producing this bad boy. Hold on. Andrew just sent me. This is video of Tibbs. So why don't we play this? Actually, let me read Kevin's comment first. Fournier's trash. Start AB when Kemba's back. Yeah, I think we got that one before. So this is Tibbs. Hold on.
No, I just keep playing him. So, no, yeah, I had no idea where he's going. When I talked to him last night, he told me how great he felt. I'm like, okay, so that's good news, and it came at a good time. Working on going through, how we were going to match up with them, and the substitutions. It was a late night call, one of the best late night calls I ever got.
One of the best late night calls I ever got. This from a lifetime bachelor, by the way. Do you think Tibbs has gotten a lot of booty calls in his life? I mean, he was rocking the mullet back in the day. It's a fierce mullet. I don't know. I'm going to think about that one tonight. The Tibbs booty call history. Where are we at on that? I don't know, but I'm going to be wondering it. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, shout out to everybody tonight watching. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Gently tap the like button or slam it if that's your preference. Shout out to Mr. Crow. Again, shout out to Andrew. Shout out to everybody in the chat, the super chat. Shout out to everybody listening to this on what day is it? On Wednesday morning. Don't forget, if you're listening to this in podcast form, subscribe, rate, review, the whole thing. And we will be back with you with a wonderful podcast with a certain Knicks beat writer who I've talked to already a few times this year. I'm very excited to talk to again. And until then, everybody enjoy the rest of your week and peace out.